Right guys, welcome to Katran TV, and you find us at Brasenose 1, and I've got to tell you, it's been years since I've been here. However, the good news is there's fish coming out. We actually got here yesterday, but with a loose plan, you know it is sometimes, even though we shouldn't do it. We're driving down the motorway and we're thinking, I'm going to fish sigs, you know, I'm going to fish bags or whatever. And I decided that I was going to fish sigs. My mate Dave, who I'm fishing with today, he went on the bottom. Unfortunately, nothing happened for either of us, but the good news is, whilst we were waiting to get in the swim, this particular swim, 2 fish came out. So the fish are in the area, or they were yesterday, and the chap next door, he's had 3 or 4, I think, during the day. So that tells us that they are up for a bit of food. So the plan is, the zigs have come off, we're going on the bottom, we've doubled up actually in a swim, you know, so there's 4 rods fishing into one area, which you can do on linear, and we're going to work the swim, excuse me, we're going to work the swim, spod fairly regularly, but not a great amount, you know, so we'll have a look at the mix a little bit later on, but try to keep ringing a dinner bell, try to make something happen, and see how it goes. So fingers crossed. I've got to tell you, it's a little bit alien to me. It must be 10 years since I've fished this lake, but fingers crossed we can make something happen, so we'll keep you posted. Right, well, as we said, we are committing to the bottom today, and whilst we're going to be spodding regularly, sort of 5 or 6 spods every half an hour, I'm actually going to cast the bags fairly regularly. So I'm going to knock a bag up now, and I'm sure you've all seen this 1,000 times, but just to tell you briefly what's in here, actually I will do a little bit of a plug. The Katran PVA organic bags, I think they're out in April. There's 2 nice things about these bags. One, they're all season, so you can use them winter, summer. Even in the winter, you're only talking about a 1:40 breakdown, which is, you know, not too long at all. And 2, this is an absolute godsend. Just being able to unzip that, get your bags out. You know, they're all nice and neat in there. They don't stick together. So yeah, anyway, that's the plug done. With regards to the mix, look, because I'm casting regularly, I don't really need different breakdown times, so it's just micro pellet. There's varied micro pellets in there, and that's all that's going out. You know, I'm envisioning casting probably every hour, you know, at the longest, and just a little wafter in there. So nice and easy, nice and simple. The one thing I would say, you know, I do like the lead at the back of the bag and the hook bait on top of the lead. We're fishing at 100 yards, so the lead really has to be at the bottom of the bag to make sure it's as aerodynamic as possible. So I'm just going to put a little layer. You've seen all this before, I know you have, but I'm just putting a little layer of pellet in there. I'm going to drop the lead in, drop the hook bait in, make sure it's all nice and tight, and that'll just make sure that I can hit that 100-yard mark nice and easily and get it back out.
I'm just going to run through the spod mix that we're actually doing. Mr. Cold Hands has already mulched up a load of boilies for us, and there's some just bit of spod mix and pellets in there, so that's all that. We're just literally putting a couple of tins of corn. Nothing new with the old spod mix, and then some of this gorgeous syrupy amino mix. Mix it all up. As always, just keep some grubbing around. Once they do eventually come into the swim. Lovely claggy mix. Press this down, goes into the spawn well, and that's what we're doing. So yeah.
Right, well, we're getting towards, I think it's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon now, and nothing has been out around the lake, and something's dawned on me. Everybody's fishing up to about 100 yards. I haven't really seen anybody fishing any further than that. It may well be that the carp are just not playing ball, which can happen at this time of year, but it also may mean that they are further out in the lake. So I think both me and Dave are going to sacrifice one rod, put the old elevate through its paces and blast one. I mean, I'm not a big caster, I say this all the time. I know lads that are, and I'm certainly not, but I reckon I can fish that 30 wraps, which is, you know, an extra 20 yards to what the vast majority of people are fishing at the moment. So this place sees a lot of corn, so I think yellow is a safe bet. I mean, to be honest with you, it's more about the colour. That's going to be fished as a single hook bait at range, mounted on a revolver rig, which, to be honest with you, it is because I don't like Ronnie rigs. It was a rig that I came up with a while ago. Again, I've caught a lot of big fish on, and it's basically a combi rig, you know, so Phantom fluorocarbon, which I've crimped in 050, combied onto Enduro 25 pound braid with just a tiny little gap. So it's basically like, I mean, don't kid yourself, the Ronnie rig catches a lot of fish. I just don't like the metalwork on them. So it mimics a Ronnie rig with the added advantage of a D on the back of the hook, which means that when I whack this, I've got no concerns about the bead slipping, you know, that is not going to move. So I'm going to get the presentation that I see in the edge is the presentation I'm going to get out in the lake when I give it the bean. So yeah, we're trying. As I say, we are trying. There's been nothing out. Everybody's doing a very similar thing. So as I say, we're going to put one out in the lake and see if it pays dividends. Right guys, well, as you can probably see, we're losing the light. I think, looking at Dave though, that's probably because he's towering over me. But we have tried. We've chucked everything at it today. There hasn't been a fish out across the whole lake. I'd be really worried if there had been fish out everywhere except here, isn't it?
Give it our best shot, mate.
We have.
We certainly have give it our best shot. Nothing's happening.
No, we stuck to the plan. We fed little and often. And we've both gone really long as well, and actually at the moment the best thing about this session is that you know, for me personally anyway, being able to comfortably fish 30 wraps with Krypton elevate, and I think you went a bit further, didn't you?
Probably 35, 36.
35, yeah. 36 wraps. So look, the fishing's rubbish, the gear's performing really, really well. However, we have got until round about 2 o'clock tomorrow. I don't know, what time does it get dark now?
5.
Yeah, so if nothing's happened by about 5 o'clock,
yeah,
the ziggers are going back out and then we'll reevaluate it in the morning.
I'll stick to my tactics on the bottom.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, it makes sense.
Yeah, just...
At least then we're asking the late 2 questions, aren't we?
Yeah, quite, exactly that.
So,
yeah.
Fingers crossed something happens. But as I say, it has been nice to really welly that elevate out there. It has performed absolutely brilliantly, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's all the gear, but the fish have no idea.
Yeah, exactly that. So look, we'll check in with you in the morning. We'll stop pushing products at you and check in with you first thing. Or maybe, if we get really, really lucky, check in with you later with a carp under the spotlights.
It's one thing that's missing at the moment, isn't it?
It is, mate.
We'd love to have a carp.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. But we are trying, but anyway, we'll catch up with you in a bit. Well, good morning. I would guess it's about 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
About 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
and absolutely nothing to report through the night. Well, except actually you had an occurrence, didn't you?
I had a couple of liners, 10 o'clock, 10:30. Sat there for an hour in the dark thinking, ooh, it's going to happen, but by 12 nothing had. So I wound in, put 2 fresh baits on, 10 more spoms out on the spot, and it's 9 o'clock now and nothing's happened. So
yeah, I think an interesting thing on there, because we both put rods long, 30 and 34 wraps, and you brought yours have been crayed, hadn't it?
You'd had, yeah. So and that's the one I wound in and put back on the spot where we'd put bait out. So yeah.
And in my experience, if the crays are there, the carp aren't normally there. So I was this morning. The plan was this morning was to bang them all out long as singles, you know, and just on the sort of premise that they were held up, you know, out towards the middle of the pond. But after Dave being done by the crays, what I've done is I've brought the zigs in, which I fished last night, not a touch on the zigs. And I did that, you know, because the pressure was coming up, you know, and nothing's been out on the bottom. So it just made sense for one of us to have 2 zigs out there. So we're asking the lake a couple of questions, which I may have said yesterday, but as I say, maggots on top of the zigs, did everything I could. Do you know what I mean?
The lake a lot of questions.
We have
not given me any answers.
No, we've done everything we can, but we have got till 2 o'clock. So what I've done this morning is reposition the rods over the bait, 2 solid bags over the bait. We're umming and ahhing whether to feed again. I don't think there's been carp there in numbers, and I'm pretty convinced there's still bait there. The coots have been telling us that there's still bait there.
I don't want to catch a fish now. I'm so looking forward to going home with a bone dry unhooking mat, a bone dry landing net. I've had a full workout from like spomming for 2 days. So no, I don't want a carp.
That's it, mate. Yeah, I know, yeah. Well, I'll tell you.
I lie like a cheap carpie.
Well, I'll tell you now, I do want a carp, and I think we both do, truth be told.
Yeah.
So we're going to plug on. We're going to carry on until, say, 2 o'clock, which is when we finish, there or thereabouts.
Can't we make it 10 to?
10 to, let's give it 10 to. Oh, by the way, I haven't grown, by the way. I don't even know if I'm still in frame now. I'll just come down to Dave's height. But we'll catch up with you. We will check in before we leave. Hopefully we check in before then with the carp, but if we don't...
it's been a good one.
We had a good time. That's what it's all about this time of year, you know, just trying to keep morale up and chuck everything at it and see if we can make something happen.
Just don't buy the pizzas.
No, don't buy the pizzas. It's a good shout, that. But we'll catch you in a bit. Well, it was a big fat blank for us on B1, despite our best efforts. I mean, me and Dave chucked absolutely everything into trying to catch a carp, but sometimes, you know, especially this time of year, they're just not playing ball. If you're not out there doing it, you haven't got a chance. So an enjoyable session, despite it being fishless, and we're really hoping to put that right in a couple of weeks' time down at Orchid. So tune in then to either see us fail miserably again. One thing we won't do, you know, is hide anything from you. If we blank, we blank. If we catch, we catch. Fingers crossed we can put one on the bank for you. But until then, thanks very much for watching, and we will catch up with you soon.